Hey everybody, hopefully we are live and I'm on the right page. I'm just playing with my computer here for a second. And okay, hopefully this is all working. I say that every time. I feel like I watch other people do live videos and say the same thing, and I'm like, yeah, you're live, I can see you, but the person behind the camera here or the computer has no clue most of the time. So we just, we start and we go and we're hoping that we're all recording. And it's Monday again. Monday came up really fast this week. So this is my second Make It Monday, and it's a new series that I'm just doing a live card making, and I'm kind of focusing on kind of simple, quick cards because Mondays are hard. We all know Mondays are hard. I feel like Monday is the hardest day to spend some time in the craft room, especially if you do a Monday through Friday. By the time you get done with Monday, you're just done. So hopefully these little quick Make It Monday videos are entertaining to you while you're relaxing on the couch or whatever you're doing, just to do a really quick card. So I'm going to jump right into it. We're going to get over to my workspace and we are going to be looking at the catalog again. So here's the workspace, and this is the annual catalog that only has 1 week left. This catalog is retiring a week from today. And so is this stamp set, Dandelion Wishes. And this was a really popular stamp set, so some people may already have this one, and you might have used it a ton of different ways. But I am drawing the inspiration for my Make It Mondays from the actual catalog. So this is on page 72, 73 in this catalog, and this is the card right here that we're going to be focusing on today. So probably well overlooked, kind of cute, simple, right? And the thing that I love most about this little card is all of the little papers that we get to use. This is a great card for all those paper scraps, and we always have tons of scraps. So this one takes 6 1/2-inch by 3 1/4 inch different kinds of paper, and you can see the rainbow colors here. This is a really pretty colorful card. So just a 1/2-inch paper, you get a ton of these when you're trimming your paper to create bigger designs with them. So don't throw those scraps away. We had a little post recently about how big are your paper scraps that you keep and how much paper do you have, and this is all handy stuff. As card makers, paper crafters, we need these papers. So, like I said, I did make the card, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the card from the catalog, and then I'm also going to show you another card that I made, because I always like to make an extra card additionally. This one does require, maybe a little weird, my camera is kind of close to the big shot, an embossing folder, and this one is also in the annual catalog. This is one of the slim smaller embossing folders. So this paper that just a white paper is going into it, and I'm going to try to line this back up kind of straight because this leafy pattern goes up and down in a straight line, and I don't want to be too crooked here. So I'm just going to set up my sandwich here real quick, and I'm going to emboss this paper. Hopefully this is going to work out okay. So I got my plate, a clear plate. I'm putting my embossing folder in with the creased, the closed sides going in first, and that's just so the pressure can be released on the back end as we go. Another clear plate, and cranking it through. And there we have it. And I'm going to move this out of the way, and we'll take a look, see how we did. So there's a little bit of embossing with this one. If you don't have a big shot in embossing folders, you could certainly use another pattern paper or, you know, textured paper, but this is what it looks like when it's done. And I think it's really cool. These are the thinner, like I said, the thinner embossing folders, so it's a smaller footprint. But this is 3 1/4 wide by 5 inches tall. And these little paper strips are going to go right on here, and I'm going to start gluing these. So again, this is a pretty quick, simple card. In the sample, they didn't use the embossed side up. They used the debossed side, so the side that looks like it's going down. They used this side facing up. So I'm just following suit here, and I'm going to start adhering my little paper strips onto my base here, this little paper that I just embossed. And I'm going to start right about here. And the hardest part of this entire card is getting the first one on straight, because we're going to layer them right down through, and if you can get that first one on straight, it's so easy after that because you're just lining them up. Now this one has, I I should go back. This is Magenta Madness, everybody. This is an in color from last year. It's a super bright poppy pink. This is Pumpkin Pie Designer Series paper. One side has the words on it. One side has like a wood grain, the part that I just put the glue on. So if you're using anything with words, you just want to make sure you're putting the words the right way up so that you can see what they say. And that's just kind of for a unique background pattern, really. The next color I'm using is Crushed Curry. And again, I took a look at the sample in the book, and I did my best guessing and a little bit of paper sleuthing. Like, I pull out different colors here in the craft room and compare it to the book, and I might stamp a couple things or use a couple different combinations until I feel like I probably have it pretty close. This is Granny Apple Green. Nice fun green color. This one is Coastal Cabana, and again, we're using the Designer Series paper. This one has the polka dots, so I'm going to put that one down. This is a fun mix of not only color but patterns as well. So if you've got some really neat pattern paper in different colors, you can make this rainbow just like this. This one here is Misty Moonlight. This is an in color from last year. Nice blue color. And as I'm looking at what I've got here, I probably started this a little bit lower than my original one, but that's okay. So you can see this is a really cool, it's a really cool beginning. Isn't that fun? I love the colors. We need a little color on Monday, right? Okay, so then we're going to do a little bit of stamping. There's not a ton of stamping on this card. I've got a little 2.5-inch square piece, and we're going to use our dandelions. This one has 3 dandelions on the stamp from the stamp set, so it wasn't this big one that's kind of a blow away. It's the set of 3 here, the little trio. And I tried out shaded spruce, but it was too dark, so I determined that probably they used just jade, which was also an in color last year. So I'm going to go ahead and get a nice coverage of ink on my stamp here. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this down. And it fits just about right. The stems and the outside edges are going to be off just a little bit. Let's see. Actually, hardly, just a whisper off. But there's the stamping for this, a nice little green. And that's going to go on here as we're going. When we assemble it, we'll put that all together. Let me put my Just Jade away so we don't get ink somewhere I don't want ink. This is the part that kind of threw me a little bit, the sentiment piece. I tried, this is Gray Granite. I also tried Smoky Slate, you know, looking at the colors that they may have used. And I really felt like they made the sentiment with Gray Granite and a basic gray ink. So we're going to go with that. And you guys can kind of look at it after I get all done and see how close you think I came. So it's just a scrap right here. And I just need to have enough room after I stamp my sentiment down to be able to punch with this. I think this is called the Tailored Tag Punch, which is also probably retiring. I feel like so much stuff right now is going away. So you can see that I'm putting it in basically when I use the punch. Like, this is the top of the punch, but I'm using it this way, sliding my paper in and punching it so that I can see just where I want the words, or the, you know, if you've got a different image that you're stamping, you can, you know, look at it upside down, punch it out, and there it is. So there's our sentiment. Super simple, right? That was the stamping for this card. We're just basically on to the assembly. Quick, easy Monday card, right? So the sample, fun fact, in the catalog really only looks like it's this size right here. If you look at the book, it looks like they've got 3 or 4 of these stacked up together, and they're not even on a card base. But we're going to put ours on a card base, and I'm looking for my dimensionals while I'm talking. They did a bunch of dimensionals on this, so I'm going to start adding these onto the back here, and we're going to be doing a little popping up and getting some depth on this one. So I just have to decide how many I really want to use. And this is a bigger piece. I normally don't add this many dimensionals to my projects. I usually glue things flat if it's a really big area, because I, you know, I'm frugal with my stuff. I don't know about you guys, but, and I've seen people come to classes and camps and they just go nuts with these things. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. But I just one of those people that I'm like, I might run out. So even though I have a ton, right? So this is going to just be centered on this piece of white. So you're doing white on white. And this piece was, the back piece here Let me look at my notes here real quick. 3 1/4, no, make that 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. So it's just 1/4 of an inch bigger than the piece that we embossed. And I am going to take the liberty of putting it onto a card base. And I went with a white card base, but this would look really cool on any color card base because you could use any of the colors in your little rainbow here that you made. And I am going to glue this one down flat. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive here on the back. And I'm going to put this right on the card front. And I decided I always like things a little bit to one side or the other, and I tend to put things to the left usually when I'm making my cards. So you have the option to put it center or a little bit more toward the right. But here's the card so far as we're going, and we're just going to attach this little guy here. And again, they used dimensionals. They really added a lot of dimensions. So we're gonna put more dimensionals on the back of this guy. This time I think I'm just going to use 4. Let me see if that's sufficient. Maybe 5. Okay. The middle could use a little help. The good part about these is you can trim along the edges and use the edge pieces too, so that's always nice. We never waste those little scraps. So here are 5 more dimensionals. I don't know if you guys were keeping count. I don't know how many I used, but it was a lot so far. And this one's just going to go right kind of in the middle of our colorful little display here of paper, pattern paper, and designer paper. So there we have that going on right there. And already it's super cute, right? Like super easy, super cute. And then for the last part of this card that they made, they added this right about here on the card. And you can see that you're going to need to put a dimensional just on the bottom. So again, we're going to come in with the dimensionals, put it on the bottom. And then I'm going to actually add a little bit of glue to the top because the top of this is going to stick to this paper and the dimensional is going to come down here lower. So I just got to pull the paper off the back of that one, and then I can layer this on here and just kind of line up how I want it. So there, it's glued right here, and then it's got the dimensional right there. And that is the card. Now let's pull the catalog back in. Oh, I closed the book. I think I said 72. Let's look. Yes, I remembered correctly. Woohoo! Okay, so here we go. So here's the card that I just made. Let me open this up a little bit so it's easier maybe for you guys to see. Now this is the one in the book. So what do you think? Pretty close? I think it's pretty close. Like I said, these ones right here, there's a few of them stacked together, and they really are just this thin piece. I took the liberty of putting it onto a card front. But that's not a full card front. And if it is, then they made a different size card than our normal card usually is. So that was the one in the catalog. This is one I made earlier today. So I always do a dry run before I jump on and stamp them. So I think they're pretty uniform. They look pretty close to me. So these are the 2 cards that I have made. Really like them. I think they're super cute. So while I was, playing with these scraps and thinking about different ways you could incorporate this paper into any card that you're making, I made another card here. And for this card, it's a sympathy card. I did take a few liberties and change things up a little bit, but I did use the same embossing folder with the same dimensions, and I used gray, blue, green colors here instead of the super bright colors. So I changed up the pattern here. I had a little piece of this leftover Night of Navy, a die cut that I had grabbed. Originally it was a flowering vine die, so it's this die right here. I had used it on another card and cut it in half, so I still had a half left over, and I love to be able to tuck these underneath because this is a really hard thing to have to glue down. So I tucked this underneath my paper, and I used the dandelion that has the little flyaway wispies on this card. I wanted to change that up a little bit. The sentiment came from a stamp set called Here's a Card. It says, "May your heart find the peace it needs." This also is a great stamp set with sentiments, and it is retiring as well. And then lastly, I took some of the little, let's see if I can find them here. There's a little stamp that has these little flyaway dandelion fuzzies, and this was after the fact. I'm just going to let you in on the reality here. I decided I really wanted them down here, but I'd already assembled the entire card, and I was really scared I was going to mess this up by trying to stamp on a completed card. So I very, very, very carefully, I took my stamp, and I took my Stampin' Right marker, and I very, very carefully just inked up 2 of these, and I very delicately placed it over my sentiment. So they are super light right here, and it's kind of hard to see them. And the reality is I may redo this. I may pull this sentiment off. It is on here with dimensionals. And I may restamp this and then do darker little flyaway fuzzies on there. Because I'm not sure if I'm happy with it or not. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of different ways that you could use this exact pattern with the, different colors and create different cards. I mean, you can make birthday cards. You can make, this is a sympathy card. Just change your palette, and you can change the type of card you're making. So that was our Make It Monday card. Okay, so that was it. Super, super simple, right? I think these are running like 15-20 minutes on a Monday, which I feel like is a good amount of time to show you a quick card and, kind of give you a little bit of inspiration, get those thoughts going about what scraps you might have laying around your craft room that you can make into this kind of card. So I hope you enjoyed my Make It Monday video, and I will come back next week. We've got the annual catalog that I'm working out of right now for 1 more week, and then the new catalog goes live. So going forward, we might have some different designs, different stamp sets that are pretty much brand new to everybody. So I hope you guys had a good time watching me. Share this if you know somebody that might enjoy this as well, or give them some ideas. So everybody take care. I'll see you next week. Bye.